Welcome, one and all. This is the Peace Dealer, and I am so freaking glad to return these peace talks. This is a very special moment for me. For those of you who are not familiar, because this is something I did last year, and you may have joined along this journey at a recent time, these peace talks are my avenue to networking with other spiritualists who are on YouTube, who share their gifts, and give them an opportunity to share who they are and really see, get in their heads, and find out, what it is about them that got them on this path. So I love the way this worked out because the moon is in Scorpio, and my guest this week happens to be a Scorpio. I didn't plan it that way. I
Yeah.
love the magic of this eclipse. So everyone, give it up for the soul wake up.
Is that my official name now? The Soul Wake Up.
Well, what is your real name?
I mean, my real name is complicated. It's a mouthful. It's Waldemar. So people don't generally call me Waldemar. Most people call me Waldy. So that's what I go by. But I'll take the Soul Wake Up. I'll go by the Soul Wake Up too.
I like your real name. Wadi sounds more original. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so what is the soul wake up?
The Soul Wake Up, it started back in 2013. I would say it was June of 2013. I'm not sure if I haven't really looked at the astrology of June 2013, but it happened towards the end, and I started it. Basically, it was like a dare from a friend, and she was like, "Waldy, you have so many things to share and so many things to offer and insights to offer. You should make a YouTube channel." And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." And she's like, "Do it, and within the next week, and you just have to." She pretty much said, "You need to do it within the next week. And it doesn't matter what it's about." So, the Soul Wake Up really started because of my passion for myself and my own self development and analyzing myself, and it trickling into astrology, or whether it be self-help kind of themes or programming or books. That's really where the Soul Wake Up came from. Just kind of like it's basically like a video blog, you know. So it's just
That's
sharing
awesome.
that.
That's really awesome. So you've been at it for like a good 2 years now. That's really great.
Yeah, 2 years. I was
A
really
year and a half, maybe.
yeah, like at the beginning, I was really good about putting up content, and then with everything that's happened, other things are happening, but I just I kind of slacked. I've been slacking with the Soul Wake Up, but I think there's a few really key videos that apply, and stand the test of time, and I've come to find out have helped a lot of people. So, they'll friend me on Facebook. I'm sure the same thing happens with you, where somebody will watch your video, somebody will connect with you on Facebook, and then it's like you become, you know, I guess friends, kind of internet friends. So it's cool. It's been cool.
Yeah, that like forever will amaze me. Just the fact that if I was in 1955, I would have to wait like a week or two before my letter got to somebody across the country. But now you just message them on Facebook. It would
Right.
take
It's
for
pretty
granted so
wild.
much.
It's really wild that I mean it's awesome and it's wild. I mean that's how you and I connected. So yeah, I think it's awesome times that we're in, and I wish everybody had a YouTube, just like a lot of people have a Facebook, a lot of people have an Instagram. I wish more people had a YouTube, but a lot of people are a little bit apprehensive about putting themselves out there, where you can't really, on video, it's not like taking a selfie. It's not like, oh, I can take 20 selfies before I get the one that looks right. On a video, it just is what it is. Um, and people's
I'm so
speed
glad you
is
mentioned
good.
that. It's so genius because I feel like that's what this Jupiter and Leo transit is all about. Like just breaking open with your heart and like being more creative. I would love to see that too, like everyone having a video blog. Because Age of Aquarius is about everyone being famous. You know, everyone's a star and stepping into that. So, speaking of you stepping into your stardom,
Mhm.
you're also a musician. You have tracks on iTunes and you're really going hard there. Can you tell me about that and what you're called and what kind of music you make?
Well, I've always been a musical person. Always sang when I was like young. I don't think I ever had this like Leo kind of star quality that's like, oh, look at me, I'm here. Like, come, like, bask in my sunshine. Like, I've never been that type. I've been more like, singing. And then if somebody saw me, I would get like, oh, don't look at me. Like, don't look at me singing. Or like if I'd be singing in the bathroom, my mom opened the door and see me singing, and I'd be like, kind of, I wouldn't be, I would be embarrassed. So I've always
Do
been
you
a
have any 12
musician.
house periods?
Do I have any 12th house what?
Planets?
I have Jupiter in the 12th house.
Oh, okay. And you have a
And
Taurus moon, right?
I have a Taurus moon, I guess right really approaching my rising sign, my Taurus rising. So I guess it's technically in the 12th house, but it's pretty much a conjunction of the rising. And Aries, my 12th house Aries is intercepted. Is that the correct term when it Aries doesn't actually get a house cusp?
Yes, that is correct. The cusp is
So
intercepted into.
yeah, so
Interesting.
and my North Node's in Aries too, so in the 12th house. But yeah, so I think that's where all this creativity has been coming from. Like it awakened suddenly. I don't know what happened in December towards the middle of December, but um, I've always thought I was going to write something. Something many years ago, I thought it would be a self-help book. Um, Many people have told me, "Oh, Walter, you should write a book." So for a long time, I thought it would be that, and I'm not one to force anything. I kind of just like, allow grace to like kind of just, take its course and flow in, a divine sense. So I was like, okay, it'll come. And then at another point, I thought I would be writing like a Lord of the Rings type of book, and but I was like, no, no, it still felt a little forced. It felt like a little forced. So, but I always thought it would be creative. So then around December of 2014, I met this producer who saw me on Instagram singing, and he lives around my way. And he was like, I love your voice. Like, I would love for you to sing on, on some tracks that I have. And so once that kind of, and I was like, sure, I've never done that. I'm not a professional singer. I just write silly I just sing silly kind of videos in my bathroom, like, and post them on Facebook. So that's pretty much the extent of what I was doing. So as soon as I met him, I started writing. And my sound, if I could characterize my sound right now, based on my inspirations, it would be R&B, pop. I'm inspired a lot by like house music of the 90s. So I think that those influences are in, the one track that I came out with. And I'm going under the name Zareth for my music. So yeah. It sounds
And
kind
I,
of spacey, kind of like Elven, kind of Lord of the Rings. I actually came up with the name when the Lord of the Rings, like the Fellowship of the Ring came out. I don't know why. I was like, I'm gonna name my first child Zareth, and people are like, how did you come up with that? I'm like, well, I thought of like a Zenith television. Like I saw the name Zenith on a TV, and I'm like, I like that. Let's change that. Oh, okay, Zareth. It sounded like an elf name, so and and like a unisex elf name. Like so it could be like a if I had a daughter, it could be her name. If I had a son, it could be his name. So yeah, that's the name that I went with because I was like, this is kind of like a baby right now. Like the whole music thing is kind of like a baby. So I decided to go by that name.
great, great, great indeed. Um, I have truly feel like music is gonna save the world. As corny and cliche as that sounds, just people expressing their hearts is gonna really make a change. Uh, I really feel that more too with this next generation as well. Uh, at least just directing the efforts towards them and seeing what happens. That Pluto in Scorpio, I'm sorry, that Pluto in Capricorn and Pluto in Sagittarius generation is just going to be like, wow. How do you feel about that with your personal planets? How do you think it'll hit you?
As far as like, are we talking about Pluto, or are we talking about, as far as like how music will affect people, or how where music shows up in my chart? Is that what we're talking about?
I asked you like 60 different questions already.
I know. I'm like, what?
um, More so, how do you feel about the music, this neo renaissance, and this new generation of kids that are gonna like, you know, do what it do?
I think that, to preface talking about like the Pluto and Sagittarius and Capricorn, Pluto and Scorpio, it's very like in your face. It's very like, it's just laid out on the table, raw and not always pretty. But I think that generation, the generation that we're both a part of, that Pluto in Scorpio generation, it might not be pretty, but it's real. And because it's real, there's a beauty in that. Um, so it's not like covering anything up. When it comes to what Pluto and Sag, that generation will bring musically, I mean, when you think of Pluto and Scorpio, like I think of a prime example would be like Rihanna. Rihanna, she doesn't give any F's about anything. She's just doing her, and her personal life has been out, in the public eye, and she's still doing what she wants to. And her Instagram, gets shut down, and she's still like F you and like whatever. I mean, I adore her for that. I think she's a good representation of that the Pluto and Scorpio generation musically. Um, Pluto and Sag, I think it's gonna just be a lot. I tend to think it will be a little bit more mm, happy. I think it's gonna be a lot happier musically, a lot just like feeling free, and maybe trance will make a big, you know, um, we'll
That's
have a
true.
big we'll have a big moment like trance music where it's like, oh, I feel so alive, and I almost feel like a little bit high, but it's not really high. It's like I feel just like
Joy.
free. Yeah, joy. I would hope that that generation of Pluto and Sag kind of brings back like that disco era where everybody of like all races and all sexual orientations kind of got together and had this like revolution of like wanting to feel good and like and just being happy and bringing people together in that way. And Pluto and Capricorn, I'm not really sure what their sound musically would be.
The greatest music ever. Wait on it.
We'll see. We will see. I tend to think, yeah, I feel like I don't know about their creativity being that much stepped up, but I feel like um, probably what they're able to achieve musically, not necessarily the sound, but what they're
That's
able to
true.
do in the music
Yeah,
industry and the music landscape will be like a
that's real
big
too.
step up.
Yeah, I like that perspective. That's actually the truth. Especially taking into note the nature of the signs and the quality. So, let's play a game. This will
Okay.
be one of maybe two or three games we'll play. Uh,
Mm,
we'll do the game I usually do. We'll take each turns asking each other questions.
okay.
Uh, and it could be questions about anything, however deep, however, whatever. I'll keep this one simple, though.
I'm an open book, so
Well, oh, awesome. Okay. Um, what is your favorite sex position?
favorite sex position. Hmm. I would say my favorite is missionary, and the only reason why is because I like the intimacy of kissing. So, I mean, I know that's kind of boring and kind of like lame, and I'm a Scorpio, and it
Yeah,
wouldn't
no, it
be
makes
like that.
sense.
But Scorpios are very intimate, passionate people, and
You got that Taurus moon though. It's very
that's
sensual,
true.
very like.
It's very sensual, yes.
Mhm.
So that would be mine. Okay, so my turn for a question. Okay. Um, what's the significance of the number 11? Because this is Peace Talk 11.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you noted the numerology because it actually does apply. Uh, 11 is the number of illumination. And the really good thing about the master numbers is that they really do break down to the regular numbers. So this also has a vibration of 2, which is very high priesty, very cancery. In my opinion, 11 is the number that vibes with Pisces. So this very episode, this very number will set off almost kind of like a 1 where there's a new adventure, but an extra 1 where like it's a new adventure with the illumination there as well. It's very vague, I'm sorry, but
So it's
it's
like it's
the
like a one, but like doubled in strength.
yeah, and also presenting as an initiation. Hence, this is the second season of it, so it's starting anew, but it's always been, it's already been like created in a way. So it's taking it to another frontier.
Okay, so it's like Pikachu evolved to Raichu.
Oh my God, you got it! You
Okay.
got it! That's like the best.
Okay.
That is so funny. All
Okay.
right. Let's see. My next question for you is okay. If you could either, if you could have any superhero power, um, what would you have? If you can have any two superhero powers, what would those two be?
Okay. I would choose. Hmm. I would choose like shape shifting. I would choose that. And I would choose flying because everybody wants to fly. I mean, who doesn't want to fly? Flying's
I
really
know, flying is the
awesome.
shit. It's the shit. What would you use the shapeshifting to do?
Um, I think it would just be cool to be able to inject yourself into situations, kind of posing as basically this is what I would do. I would pose as a friend of mine and go talk to people about myself. Does that make sense? To see what they like have to
Mm,
say
that
when
is
I get
so Scorpio. Oh my God.
yeah, that's really Scorpio.
That is so. That's so wise though. That's really true. That would be revealing as hell.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be
Okay.
so real.
Okay. So my question would be, um, what? Okay, so this might be too specific, but we'll go with it, and if it's too specific, we'll just go on to a question. So because this translates to me, and it was very impactful. I'm not sure if it is for you, but I kind of want to see. So astrologically, last year, Mars being in Libra for an extended amount of time, um, taking that into consideration, was there anything that occurred for you when Mars was in Libra or when Mars like changed right into like when it just went into Scorpio? I think that was towards the end of like July of last year. Is that about right? Is there
I
anything
think so.
significant that happened?
Well, when you asked that, I rolled my eyes because I have Mars in Aries, so that retrograde was so emasculating for me. It's funny because it's not like so much is different, but I was just so painfully aware of how much booty I do not get in my life. Like the universe made it so apparent. Like, why don't you have sex, Mike?
Oh
Like as
my
if I had a choice in the matter. Like I didn't want to have sex, and it'd be. I roll my eyes because it was almost as if I felt like I was being punked by the universe. Like almost, but it's cool. It's interesting. It kind of forced me to take sex more seriously, so that when Mars went into Scorpio, I now started asking myself, well, yeah, like, what am I? How is my sexuality affecting who I am? How is this healthy for me? How is it not healthy for me? And yeah, it really just opened me more to the fact of how I really just like to take things in my own hands. Like now that Mars is back in Aries, it's just like, oh yes, oh my god. But even in Libra, like I'm making it sound like it was the worst period ever. But yeah, like
Yeah,
oh
I
my
mean, I think
god,
there was a lot going on. It was pretty significant, I think. Now, so your rising sign is what?
Taurus.
Taurus, I thought so. Yeah, because we're both Taurus rising. So when it went into Scorpio, did you notice anything different with your relationships?
Um, we're talking about July into maybe like the end of 2014. Yes, this was around the time, even when it was in Libra, because this was starting to aspect the North Node. I started forming pretty dope partnerships. All platonic in nature, though. This was still carrying on the whole, why you want a fucking dry spell, Mr. Peace Dealer? And, you know, it's crazy because the emphasis was on not so much sexual purity, but a very egoic energy. Like, yeah, why are you being a punk? Why aren't you having sex? And it's like, what? This is not how divine or cosmic energy is supposed to work. So it really changed my life in a very subtle, subtle way. Like, not like, oh wow, I have to deal with this, but okay, it changed the way I look at sex. I'll just say that. It
Okay,
really changed the way I see it. Yeah.
which makes sense.
Although my view of sex is forever changing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
agree too. I mean, when people ask you things like, what do you believe? Like, do you believe in this, or do you believe in soul groups, or do you believe in, it could be anything. It's always ever changing. It's hard to really answer. I mean, just because I say yes, it doesn't mean that that's not an evolving thing, or the definite, or what you call it might change in my mind. So many things are hard to articulate, especially when everything's constantly not the same. I mean, even our perceptions. So today I can say, oh yeah, I believe in chocolate, and tomorrow it could be, I say that because it's like Easter, and like there's like chocolate right here. Hey, right, like right here, it's like, hello chocolate. So um but yeah, I mean, I would agree that, yeah, I mean, even sex constantly changes for me. Just to highlight on that topic, I think that with, with a big theme, I would say towards the end of 2014, as it relates to sex, um, is how it brings up the whole monogamy thing. And what is monogamy, and then kind of researching, when you do some research, whether it's articles on Facebook or Psychology Today or whatever on YouTube, and you find that the institution of monogamy is actually a modern thing, um, and that I I was feeling very, at the end of 2014, feeling like this tribal sexuality was coming back.
Mm.
Um, I don't really know where that comes from. I don't know if there's an astrological significance to
There
that.
is. I'm actually really glad you said that. This is prelude to Pluto and Aquarius. I'm so glad you said that because I wasn't really sure how aware people were of this, but it's coming back, bro. Like orgies, all that stuff. Like there's gonna come a time with these younger generation of people, platonic sex is gonna be the new in thing. Like people are just gonna have casual sex with each other, and it's Aquarius energy, so they're not going to attach to it. It's just not going to be a thing. People are going to have sex parties. People do have sex parties now, I guess, but it's going to be a more open thing. Like, we might even have orgy parades for real.
Yeah. And I think like experimenting like across like gender, that won't be like a thing at all, like eventually. And I would also say that, because this is the thing, like there are tribes, indigenous tribes, and let's just say, I think the place that I found was online. It was talking about an indigenous tribe in South America, and like a woman would have sex with multiple men because she felt that for her to get pregnant, she wanted pieces of all of these men. Like she wanted, her child to embody different things that she admired in different men. So like that was their belief. So she would have sex with multiple men to the point where she did get pregnant. I mean, very different from, traditions
Very
where
different.
we are.
And then it makes you wonder, who are we to say that that lady's just a whore?
Right.
Who are we to judge that system anyway? And then knowing that we kind of really can't judge, why do we still enforce these systems silently today? Like, it's so interesting.
Exactly. And I think people, I mean, obviously, I think that people want to identify with a relationship a lot, and because it gives them a sense of identity in some way.
It's
But,
true.
I think that once you're centered and your best relationship is with yourself, I think, that freedom to love is coming from that, the intensity of the love that you have for yourself. So you're not determining, or you're not classifying love based on a certain kind of relationship. You see more love as, love is love, period. There's no like familial love, and there's no, friendship love, romantic love. It's all just love. And some people,
Amen.
it's just resonance. It's just like, it's the degree to which you physically want to, you know, appreciate someone else, or, show affection to someone else. It's just degrees of affection. But the love itself isn't any different. So, I personally, where I am right now, I'm pretty free, like as far as how I see that, and how relationships go. I think it's kind
That's
of,
dope.
I think, and I can see how people would not understand, just in conversations with people that I've had, because, and I don't expect anybody to understand, but
You gotta wake more people up with the soul wake up.
I guess so. I haven't done a sex video yet, so maybe that's due.
There's always time for a sex video. So, the last question I have for you before we go on with the interview is, what are your personal beliefs on twin flames, and that concept in general? And yeah,
Mm.
do you have any connections like that? And yeah,
So twin flames is another one. It goes back to what I said. Like, beliefs are always changing, and I don't have a set. I can't really quantify twin flames, but I will say, if I honestly, if I'm going to keep it 100, I don't believe in twin flames at this moment. And the reason why I don't, is because the person that I thought was in twin flame was actually, it was karmic. It wasn't a twin flame. And once I analyzed and thought about the idea of twin flames, it it didn't hold as much value as I had thought. Because then it puts value on two people or two pieces, when why is like two pieces more important than three? And then we get into numerology, and then we get into like, numbers, and how numbers show up in nature, and, and everything. So, I don't think that two. I think we have pretty much gave the number two a significance that it might not necessarily have, um, because it's just a number like the rest. So I don't see. I think that's where I kind of have my mind about twin flames have changed.
well,
I
through
think.
your answer, you kind of just revealed it. I'm sorry for interrupting, but
Oh, it's
you
okay.
kind of just keyed me into a whole lot right now because the I believe the twin flame is true, but it's not real. The way the concept, everyone is looking for that other one, but the thing that everyone will tell you is that this is a relationship from the highest vibration. I think what this twin flame relationship kind of symbolizes is that archetype between the yin and the yang that plays out through all of us. So we're all, at the bottom level, receiving what, working to feel the relationship happening up there, but with our egos, we want to personify it, not knowing we're cells within those actual two couples,
Right.
which the two, and then it trickles down to more numbers down here. So maybe a karmic connection is somebody who resonates and parallels that couple up there, but then we can't get attached to it, I guess, because we're in a low dimension. It's not going
Yeah,
to
I
be.
mean, I think the idea of twin flames and just seeing videos online, you type in twin flames on YouTube, you'll get a slew of videos that come up. I honestly think that, and I don't want to devalue any information because all information is good. But I think that when the goal is you know, love and self actualization and just getting to know yourself and understanding yourself, I think that a lot of these videos about twin flames um, being the goal and working on your twin flame relationship is a little damaging, or I shouldn't say damaging, I'll say that it kind of halts, your own attention and focus towards yourself. But I think you can take many paths and get to the same result. So,
Mhm.
even though you are watching twin flame relationships and you're like, yes, I'm in a twin flame relationship, and this is my twin flame, and I need to like send them messages in my sleep, and I need to like send them, you know, vibrations of pink or whatever. Okay, great. But I think we're I think that can just kind of what it does is it creates expectation.
Mhm.
And I think that when you create expectation, you're already living in the future. So you're not here and it's not serving you to be up in that future because then you're expecting it and then you'll be disappointed. But like I said, you can believe in twin flames, you cannot believe in twin flames, or you can be anywhere in the middle. And I think you're still going to eventually get to the same result, which has to do with everything having to do with, being able to validate yourself, being able to see yourself, feel yourself, and, know yourself. So,
And like you said, there's so much information on this subject. A lot of people will say, well, to find your twin flame, you have to focus on yourself. You can't have expectations. There's literally every single advice about, how to do this. But I like what you said. Like, it's really more about the self love, the self validation, not getting attached to these labels, which is what
right,
they
because
are at the
like,
end of the day.
because it's like even if they're saying you have to work on yourself to get to your twin flame, I think that somebody's ego could make them I'm not sure, but I feel like even that you can have some kind of you could be self-sabotaging or lying kind of to yourself like, "Oh, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me," when in reality, you're doing it because you want the twin flame relationship. So what's going on isn't truly authentic and you're not really feeling the
It's just a means to a
the
gain or a means to an,
yeah, exactly. You're not
yeah,
feeling the fullness of
means
your
to an end. I'm
self
sorry.
experience. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
So what's our next game? What's our next game, Spencer?
oh well, you actually have one more question for me,
Oh, I do. Okay.
and then we'll continue the interview, and
Whoa,
then
okay.
the hair is real.
Yeah, the hair is real. Like I was trying to get her together. She just did not want to work with me. Like, so don't judge. Okay, so my question will be, uh, hmm, hmm, what does everybody who, what do all your subscribers want to know about you, Michael? Uh, hmm. I crap. Okay, let's just I'm gonna borrow one of your questions, or does it have to be a unique question?
It does, but I mean, if
Okay,
you
it does
want
have to be
to,
okay.
yeah.
How about it can be a unique question, but I hope it doesn't have the same answer to the other question that I was asked. What's your least favorite sexual position?
Oh, hmm. Oh, that's a good question. Um, this is kind of embarrassing.
Yay!
I don't think I've done any more than like missionary or doggy style. I haven't. I don't
Okay.
really have a lot of sex, and I
Well,
like
that was
both of
that
those.
Mars and
So
Libra. That was the Mars and Libra. So we're still like, I guess that's still having an effect on
I'm
you.
I'm a late. I'm a very late bloomer. So ask me
There's
that
time.
question again in
There's
like
time.
3 years.
Right. Okay. Oh, well,
now,
I mean, 3 years is a lot, so let's bring it down to 1 year.
yeah, 1 year, 1 year.
Okay, 1 year.
Body, this question is so psychologically profound. When I have sex next, I'm gonna do at least 9 different positions, so I could be
Right,
like, all right,
just
I
to
didn't
kind
like
of
that one.
like a trail mix of sexual positions.
But um, I would say the cowgirl. You know,
Backwards
when
cowgirl or a forwards cowgirl?
forwards, and not because it's my least favorite, but I've never had anyone who's really good at doing it do it. So it was just not that pleasurable. You know, it's
Mm,
like, but
forwards
yeah.
cowgirl. Okay.
But I'm pretty sure if it was good, that would totally change my answer right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So to continue with the interview, I asked this question to Scarlet Moon on episode 4, I believe, or 5. Not sure which episode it was on, but I think it's really good that you're open about your sexual orientation, and I just want to know, like, how, number one, how was coming out of the closet for you? What was that experience like? And how did it affect your spirituality? And
Hmm.
how does it continue to do so?
Uh, coming out of the closet, it was for me. What was important for me was because I knew very early on. I would say like I started to feel kind of different in elementary school. So, as you can imagine, middle school's really hard for everyone. High school was a little bit easier, not as kids aren't as mean in high school as they are in middle school, I think, but I kind of knew what was going on in middle school too. I would have basically like a girlfriend, just and really it was like I'm gonna have a girlfriend to see where I am with myself. Like, does this feel authentic? Does this feel like, just figuring myself out? And then come, you know, high school, I came out to basically, my high school friends in my junior year. And, I didn't really feel a need to come out per se to my family because, anyone who's straight doesn't have to come out. So I didn't feel inclined to come out. I think my mom just asked me one day and I said, yeah. And she was like, okay. Um, Now, as far as, the significance, so, it wasn't extremely hard for me. My family wasn't, didn't shun me or anything like that. My family is I'm really grateful and thankful that I have such a loving family. But as far as the spiritual significance of, being out and, with the soul wake up and just being out on YouTube and everything, I think that, just we all, it doesn't matter if you're gay or if you're not gay or, what your race is. Uh, we all just want representations of, the collective to be represented. And, it we're all unique in that way. So, we're all different mixtures of a lot of things. And whether it's racially or, gender, sexual orientation, a lot of things. So, and that's why I think there's a lot of angst about in the mainstream media, how much diversity is really being represented. I think that that's where that comes from. So, I think it's just kind of the flow of things. I don't see it as being that significant. Like being gay, I don't even think about it really. Like it's just I'm just who I am all the time. Nobody makes a thing of it, but you know. So yeah, I mean, I'm gay. Fuck it. I don't care. Do you care?
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that. Like it'll be nice to see people shifting from, I'm a black this or I'm a gay this to, I'm this, like
I mean, I think that there's something very interesting about identifying with a certain group. So if I'm like, oh, I'm identifying as gay, yes, that gives me strength, initially, so I can come to terms with that with myself. But I don't think that should be your calling card.
mm,
Or, oh, I'm a mixed person.
yeah,
Or, you know, for initially identifying with a certain thing that may somebody may hold shame over, like being gay. I mean, there's tons of people that, have shame over that. I'm not sure if, being black or being of a certain skin tone within the black community has, its own shame. But I think that once you identify yourself uh, by the thing that people may be judging you by, it starts to dissolve, and you no longer identify with it. So at initially identifying with something that other people shame you for gives you courage, and it gives you strength, and then eventually it dissolves and you're just who you are. um and you're not bound by those identities. So I think that that's something that we all need to work on, is just like dissolving identifying with the things that don't identify us anymore. And if you're still identifying with certain things, I don't know, maybe reassess. Because I think that as far as like our body and as far as like sexuality and our race and everything, I think it's just this is the vehicle for us to do the work we need to do. So, I look like this because and I'm gay because certain people needed to be reached. Maybe I look like this because there were certain people that needed to get my message, and because I look like this, they'll get that message. um I mean, it could be a lot of things. So I think that we should honor how we look, we should honor the vehicle itself, but it's only to serve our essence. It's not real. It's not everything, you know what I mean. It's not the main thing here. It's more what's I know this sounds really like it sounds really
no, it's
cliche
true.
and really
It's true
stupid.
though.
Like it's what's in here. Like this is the vehicle for you to offer what's in here. So, you look the way that you look because there's certain people that are going to resonate with you, and who will want to hear your voice, who will accept your offering. And it is based on how you look, and who your ego is on the surface. So,
True that. True that. So, all right, before we close, let's play one more game. This is when I invite certain zodiac signs to officially hate you. Uh,
ooh.
what are your three favorite signs and your three least favorite signs?
Okay, three favorite signs. Three favorite signs. My three favorite are Capricorn, uh, because I have two house cusps in Capricorn, and Cancer because I have two house cusps in Cancer. Also, I have the ninth and the 10th in Capricorn, and I have the third and the fourth in Cancer. And so I tend to think I attract them a lot, and it's because I like them. And my other favorite sign, I would say, hmm, that's really hard. Uh, I like I like Leos, honestly. I like Leos. My brother's a Leo, and they're just they have a warm nature to them, and I like that about them. My three least favorite. Okay, Taurus would be number one. Um, and the reason why, and I know I have a Taurus rising, and I think that Taurus suns are usually my least favorite, and I can't really. I mean, generally speaking, I think that and one of my really close friends is a Taurus, but and it's crazy that I'm friends with him. But even though I mean I adore him, but Tauruses tend to be kind of like blah. To me they kind of are blah and like boring, and I'm just like sitting here and I'm just gonna like I don't really have anything to say. I'm just gonna eat this macaroni and cheese, like.
Oh my god.
And
Oh my god, and probably Instagram it.
um, but you know, that's why the people who are Tauruses in my life, like you should you should be honored. You know what I mean? Like you have broken through the barrier. Like um no, I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
Oh
Okay,
my god.
my second least favorite sign would be Virgo. And the reason why I really don't like Virgos is because I feel like they I feel like they have a lot of stuff going on because they are very analytical, but I'm the kind of I guess my nature is to want to talk about stuff. Like I like to talk about feelings and I like to help other people talk about their feelings, and for me a Virgo is so analytical that they can't just like let their feelings just, flow out, because that's what's important in any relationship with a Virgo. Like if I have a Virgo friend, that's what I found is pretty difficult is, they don't come forth with, what's going on with them. I kind of have to pry because they're just going to be in their little bubble and handle everything. Uh, so
I
I don't
love
really,
that this is the 11th episode, and like in almost every episode, the least favorite sign Virgo has been in, some way or somehow.
oh, really?
Yes. This is like killing me right now.
Oh my gosh. And then I would say my third least favorite sign is Libra. And the reason why I don't like Libra is because
They're
I
evil.
feel I don't even know if it's that they're evil. Like I feel like they want to do shit for you, and I feel like it's inauthentic. It's like they have an alternate agenda and they're like, "Oh, do you need anything?" or like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Ew, like stop being like a fucking baby." Like or like so like is everything all right? Did I do something wrong? Like I don't like that. Like it gets on my nerves cuz I'm like they're acting like it's about you when really it's about them. Like I feel like it's an act. Like I feel like it's inauthentic. And I'm getting really passionate like a Scorpio would, like about how I feel with that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, those would be my three least favorite. Interesting that, Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus. And I don't like either. But
Oh my
My
god.
Venus is in Sag, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, that would make sense for Taurus. All right, so I'm gonna close out here. If anyone would like to reach you, how can they do so? And do you
Um
have any services?
Well, I want people to friend me on Facebook. I feel like that's the easiest. Um, you can watch the Soul Wake Up YouTube, and you can just type in the Soul Wake Up. Um, you can go buy my song on iTunes too. Um, Soul Wake Up on Instagram. You can do all of that if you'd like, but I feel like, for people who actually like feel like they resonate with my energy, I like to be able to connect with those people. So I I say, find me on Facebook and be friends because I love that kind of interaction with people that, have a common bond or a resonance with.
And I'll be sure to put your Facebook name as well as your YouTube link in the description box below.
Ooh, yay.
So thank you so much, Waldy. Was an excellent re-spark and Aries season. I'm digging the glasses too.
Thank
The
you.
swag, the swag is real.
With the no lenses. Okay.
Oh, see, no one does that anymore. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, I'm about to bring that back.
When you're doing
Well,
like videos and I have a light in my face, like you would get the glare. So that's why you take the lenses out. That's why you can't
oh,
take selfies because you get the glare. So pop the lenses out. There you go.
oh. I want to actually like wear no lenses in public just so people
No,
can
and
look at
you'll
me
see
weird.
people in your peripheral vision. You'll see people like looking at you like, is there lenses in there? And then you'll see them and you'll catch them and be like, no, boo, there's no lenses in here. It happens to me all the time. It happens all the time to me.
Oh my God, this is awesome. All right, y'all. That's it for this week's episode. If you have any suggestions, I know you guys have been suggesting some people to me. I have a great lineup for the next month as well, and the rest of this month. What I suggest is go to that astrologer or YouTube channel and send a request. Let them know so that when I hit them up, they're more aware of it. Because some people I never really hear back from. So like, I'm just joking. Who doesn't want to be on the show? But
I
no,
want
for real.
Nadia Shah. Nadia Shah, please.
Oh my God, yeah, she's actually down to do this.
I love her.
Um, yeah, she is so awesome. I'm going to probably feature her in May. So for sure, guys, this May, it's going down. Nadia Shah.
Cool.
Um, all right. See y'all next week. Thank you once again, Waldy. Stay
No
blessed,
problem.
brother.
You too.
All
Bye.
righty.